Hello, welcome to another episode here on my YouTube channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Ivy Prosper, and I tell stories from Africa and the African diaspora. If you're joining me today, please do put it in the comment section where you are joining from. I see that there's about 6 of you who've joined. I see Menelik Cheney from Detroit. Thank you so much for joining. If you are here, do share where you're watching from. My apologies on the delay today. Had some technical issues causing the delay, but we are here live and we are here strong, ready to talk about a conversation that people have been having ever since November. Thank you, Archives and Ancestry with Aisha Abdul Rahman from California. Thank you so much. I hope you are not affected by the wildfires over there or your family and friends. I hope everybody is safe over there in California. Thank you for joining. We have Sel from Accra. Thank you, Sel, for joining. Thank you so much. As you join, please do let me know where you are here from. I'm live from Accra, Ghana. Actually, I'm in Tema, Ghana, which is just outside Accra. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of like being in Brooklyn instead of being in New York. Or being in South Fulton instead of being in Atlanta. So it is the city right next door. If you ever come to Ghana, come to Tema. It's the center of the world. Archives Ancestry with Aisha and Abdul Rahman says, thank you. I'm in northern area, so I'm okay. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Chris Jason is here from Texas. Thank you for joining. So today's conversation is with a special guest I have had on my channel before. His name is Jay Cameron. He's an entrepreneur. He is an author. He's a speaker, a motivator, and he's a man who's passionate about bridging the gap between the diaspora and Ghana. He is also a YouTube creator. He has a channel as well, which is Maximum Impact. His company, Maximum Impact, has been doing amazing with bringing people to Ghana. If you saw him on my channel before, it is a conversation we had about him bringing over 2,000 African Americans to Ghana over the last few years. And he continues to do so, not only to Ghana, but to other parts of Africa, Tanzania, South Africa, Kenya. And he's also been taking people to places like Cuba, exploring the African historical community around the world. So it's a really an amazing thing that he's doing. As I said, his name is Jay Cameron, and he is one of the people who recently got citizenship in Ghana this month, January. He was part of the last group. I have had people contacting me on a regular basis since November, when the 524 people from the diaspora, which included people from the US, from Canada, from the Caribbean, from the UK, people of African descent who came to Ghana and got citizenship. Now, there was a second batch in the last few months, which is actually technically the 4th batch under the last government. So under the NPP government, President Akufo-Addo, under the year of return, then under beyond the return. Initially, there was a group in 2019 that got citizenship. Then there was a group in 2022 that got citizenship. And then there's the group in November 2024 that got citizenship. And then the first week of January 2025 that got citizenship. So 4 groups under President Nana Akufo-Addo were given citizenship. And Jay Cameron was part of the most recent group. It was about 200 people. And since then, a lot of you have been sending me messages asking me, how do I get citizenship? How can I get citizenship? How can I get citizenship? I'm living in the US. I want citizenship. What can I do? A lot of people just asking all kinds of questions. I did a video previously giving you information on how to get citizenship in Ghana, but people are still asking. So I thought it would be great to bring someone who actually got citizenship. And not only does he have citizenship in Ghana, but he also has citizenship in Sierra Leone. So he has 2 citizenships on the continent of Africa. Without further ado, my guest today, Jay Cameron, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ivy, it is good to see you again. And as you were running everything down, I was like, who is this guy? So, your eloquent words, I appreciate it. I thank you for, welcoming me back to your show. And we always have great conversations. Your interview over on my channel, folks are still talking about it, and I appreciate your transparency, and I appreciate, being able to share the stories because some of it pertaining to African diaspora in Africa, but then also stories about life and what we go through as humans. So I appreciate the dialogue and having the ability to share. And so here we are talking about this citizenship, and I guess that this is the topic of conversation. You did mention Cuba, though. Let me say this: I just got back from Cuba, so I have my I have cigars and my cohibas right here. So for those who know anything about Cuba, and there we go, Cuba and the African diaspora, yes. And I do have this is my, whatever, I don't know what's going on with the, I think it has a blur on it or whatever, but this is my certificate right here. I'm officially a citizen of Ghana, and I love every moment of it. Yes.
Yes. We'll jump right into that topic. Let me quickly acknowledge some of the people who've joined. Larry Jackson from Louisiana, welcome to the show. We have Kwame Olatunji. Hi, Sister Ivy and everyone. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate you. You always join these live streams. Hope you're well. Yes, we are well. I am well. I know Jay is well too. Thank you so much. And Archives and Ancestry with Aisha Abdul Rahman says, Kushe Fambul. Oh, I want to know what that means. Please share. Congrats on your Ghanaian citizenship.
Thank you. I saw Sierra Leone flag there. Timine representing Timine people in Sierra Leone. So that's
that's what it is. Okay.
Well, no, I don't know. Okay, but I know that I represent the Timine people of Sierra Leone as well, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how this all works because I think it's a deeper story that we may want to understand, especially for those of us who are part of the historical African diaspora around the world.
Cel says, my late dad and I love Cuba and the vibe. Cuba Libre. Foreign people are also in Cuba. Can't wait to visit. Oh, Cuba is beautiful. I went there before. It's really nice. I enjoyed it. Beaches are beautiful. People are great. The food was really good off of the resort. When you go into town amongst the community, you get to taste better food.
Yeah, I love the food in Cuba. And a little known fact, Ivy, that I don't think a lot of people know this, but I have some Cuban ancestry too.
You do?
Yeah. It's very interesting we'll talk about the ancestry dynamics because I think I hear a lot of the conversations and I think people are confused about how it all plays out. And we'll talk about that as it pertains to Sierra Leone. We'll talk about that as it pertains to Ghana, and we'll talk about it as it pertains to the United States and other parts of the world.
Now, I have a comment here. Couche, because I asked what it means. Couche is hello in Creole, and Fambul means family. Saying hey to Jay Cameron. I have my Salone citizenship as well. Travel between US, Salone, and Ghana. Excited to learn more about Jay's story. Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. So let's jump in. Let's start off first with the Sierra Leonean citizenship.
Sure.
We have talked on my channel about this before. Actually, it wasn't on my channel. It was with Atlanta Black Star. I first interviewed you for Atlanta Black Star.
That's right.
And yeah.
Wow. That was back in 21, 22. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was like 20 or 21. 20 or 21.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was talking about the Sierra Leone process of citizenship. So for those who don't know, we'll dive into that story first before we get into the Ghana story, because, not many people can say they have citizenship in 2 African countries who's an African American. So that means you have 3 citizenships now.
That's correct.
So tell us, how did you get citizenship in Sierra Leone?
Sure. So just to, so everybody understands, as a United States citizen, there's no limitation on how many other citizenships you can have. So that's something, because some people say, oh, I thought you could only have this or that or that. As a United States citizen, there's no limit to it. So what happened, and ironically, I was curious years ago about the ancestry, and I wanted to find out where my ancestors came from, and understanding that many people who were born in the United States or who are descendants of those who were enslaved, they have a very mixed ethnicity. So when I say that, meaning you take the continent of Africa, and if you take what happened with the transatlantic slave trade, many people who were brought to Brazil, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, the United States, Canada, many of them were placed on vessels, but they came from different parts of Africa. So they didn't all just come from one place. They didn't all just come from Congo or Mali or Sierra Leone or Ghana or Nigeria. So many of them were placed on these vessels, and they began to, get together, as people do. People are going to be people no matter what the circumstances are. And so with all of this ethnic mixing, you had people from different ethnic groups, even from East Africa, because I have a considerable percentage of Kenyan ancestry that showed up in the DNA. And I know some people question whether or not it's legitimate. I went to the DNA looking to try to disprove it. I wanted to find out where it was fraudulent, where there was something wrong with it. And at every turn, it came up to where it was proving another piece of the story. So Sierra Leone and South Carolina have a connected history. So Freetown and Charleston, South Carolina have been connected because that was one of the direct routes that our ancestors were brought over to the United States on. Ironically, I was born in Charleston, South Carolina. So I knew now when I sat down and I did the reveal with my DNA, I really didn't know anything about Sierra Leone. I didn't know much about Africa. I thought of Africa in a monolithic standpoint, of monolithic ways, thinking, okay, Africa, everybody's pretty much the same. Everybody pretty much, speaks the same language. How misinformed was I? So when I heard about Sierra Leone, I'd never been to Africa, and I just kind of put it in my back pocket. Okay, I descend from the Timine people in Sierra Leone. I was curious. It made sense because I was born in Charleston, South Carolina. Sierra Leone, South Carolina, this connection. And so then in 2021, one of the ancestry companies said that they had worked out a deal with Sierra Leone that anyone who could show that they had ancestry coming from Sierra Leone, they would grant them citizenship. And just so happened, my ancestry showed Timine people Sierra Leone. I didn't hesitate. I went to Sierra Leone, and when I got to Sierra Leone, I did the 10-day tour that we were required to do. But when I got there, I saw how there were so many similarities between the people in Sierra Leone and the people of the Gullah Geechee people in Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, and that whole region. And I said, you know what? I said, this is not just something DNA is telling me. I'm seeing it in the way they move, the way we move, the food. They put the rice on the plate. They dump the food on top of the rice, how we're eating, what we're doing. It was so similar. And so that was the pathway to citizenship in Sierra Leone. And so what many of the countries are realizing is the power of the African diaspora outside of Africa, the economic power, the cultural connections that are there. And so they're extending invitations to say, come back and be a part of what we're doing, because they recognize that there is a benefit there on both sides. And so when it came to Sierra Leone, what it did was it gave me an ECOWAS passport. And that passport allowed me to go to other economic states that shared that same passport. So, for example, Sierra Leone and Nigeria and Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire and Guinea and Senegal and the Gambia and others. There's about 14 of them before Mali and Niger and Burkina Faso left. They were a part of it as well. So what it did was it gave me the flexibility to move throughout West Africa and establish these connection points. So where I would have been required to get a visa to go to Cote d'Ivoire, get a visa to go to Nigeria, or a visa to go to the Gambia. By me having the Sierra Leone passport, I no longer needed a visa, and I could establish these connections, meaning bridging the gap and taking more and more people to places like Senegal and Nigeria, because now I had the license to be able to do it. So it opened the door. And that's why I think so many people now, of course, if I want to go live in Sierra Leone, I have that option to go live there. I have the option to go establish a business without the same requirements of someone who is considered a foreigner. So, and when I say foreigner, meaning someone, obviously who is not a citizen of the country. And so that was just one of the benefits. But what I always look to do is to understand what the initiative is. And so the initiative was, one, to be able to help those who were dispersed reconnect, but then also for those from an economic standpoint to bring the resources back to the respective country. So that was one of the things that I recognize. And, that's why I always, let people know Sierra Leone was the first one to extend the invitation. And I treasure my citizenship in Sierra Leone. I respect it. I understand the value of it. And I appreciate it. I love the people of Sierra Leone, Mende, Timide, so I don't get into the different ethnic, differences and all of that. I just appreciate being welcomed in that way, and look to continue to contribute to the economy there in Sierra Leone, but then also to learn and to be a part of it. When you go to Sierra Leone, you come in and you see the mountain right there, and you're just like, wow. And you go to the top and you look out and you see that ocean. You know that is a special landscape. So that's how I ended up as a proud citizen of Sierra Leone.
Okay. And so if somebody wanted to find out how they could also become a citizen of Sierra Leone, is there a specific organization that they need to get with in order to do the pathway through the DNA connection?
Absolutely. So if they go to African Ancestry, Africa, you can't do 23andMe, you can't do Ancestry DNA. You have to go through African Ancestry. And if you go through African Ancestry, they will be able to point you in the right direction as far as getting connected. Now, your ancestry has to show through African Ancestry that you have any small amount of Sierra Leone. So understanding African Ancestry is specific. I use them all because I like the full context. But if you want to know how I got that Sierra Leone citizenship, it was through African Ancestry and being able to, when I went through my maternal line, and my mother's, she's from that South Carolina, Summerville, South Carolina, it went right back and traced into Sierra Leone. So African Ancestry is how you can get more information, and you want to make sure that you take one of the DNA tests, and it'll link you. If it links you to Sierra Leone, then that's when you want to inquire about when they're going to do another citizenship in Sierra Leone.
And the great thing about African Ancestry is that it's a Black-owned organization, for those who want to know, because some people are always concerned about, who's owning the data. And from my understanding, African Ancestry has said that they do end up destroying the information. They don't keep it on record like some of the other organizations do. Is that correct? Do you know?
That is what I've been told, and that is what I know Dr. Gina Page has been emphasizing for years, that they will destroy the DNA, so you don't have to worry about being sold to other groups and organizations or whatever. So that's the one thing a lot of people appreciate about African Ancestry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And was it an expensive process to go through African Ancestry? Because some people have said that they don't know what to expect as far as how much it would cost to do.
All right, so I'm gonna answer that question two ways. The expense of me not doing it would have cost me more had I tried to go and navigate all throughout the different countries and everything. It would have cost me much more than what it cost me to go through African Ancestry. So you take the test. I think the test is somewhere around $300, and that's a small fee to find out this information, because when you find out the information, it could unlock so many different things. The actual tour cost about $6,000 or so to go. So by the time I did the test and the tour, might have been about $6,500, but I got my citizenship. So the value of that, I tell people all the time, some people want to play cheap, you can do that, but then oftentimes the opportunities kind of fly by, and it was well worth it. It's one of these things when you want options and you want to look and say to yourself, okay, things are acting up in the US, I need somewhere else to go. People find money at that point. Now it'll cost you, $20,000, $30,000 to have an option when it could cost a much less, on the front end. And so it's always kind of being prepared and knowing. And if it's something you're interested in, it's well worth it. I know that they've had several hundred people do the citizenship in Sierra Leone, and many people are taking advantage of it on both sides. Meaning, they're taking advantage of it from the standpoint of being able to visit. Some people have moved there. You can see construction happening, a lot of development. A lot of people are finding beachfront properties that they would never find anywhere else. Some of the most beautiful beaches in the world right there in Sierra Leone. And it's something I believe that every person who's a part of the African diaspora, who's looking for options, especially in countries like the US or the UK or Canada, that have these, or France or Portugal or wherever, that have these economies that can that afford you the opportunity to go and establish yourself there. Take advantage of this take advantage of it now, because who knows how long that opportunity or that option will be available.
Right. Now, Kwame says, well done to Jay on again being given back his African birthright. Thank you for your comments.
You.
And then he said there are Teme people in Grenada. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that, but I believe it. I definitely believe it, because so many people have been taken around the world. When you go to Brazil, you find the Yoruba people in Brazil. You find the Yoruba people in Cuba. It's a very fascinating thing. You go to Nigeria, you find a huge Afro-Brazilian community. You go right there in Jamestown in Ghana, there's Afro-Brazilian, the connections are right there. You go to Haiti and you go to Benin, and then you see the connections right there between Ouida and Haiti. So when we think we're separated, I went to Honduras, and I had a gentleman do one of the other ancestry tests. I think he did Ancestry.com, and I looked at him, and I said, look, you want to do the test? He said, yeah, I'll do it. He said, I hope I'm African. I looked at him. I said, brother, you don't have to worry. It's coming back Africa. You don't have to worry. But see, the interesting thing is, he came back 75% West Africa. And the other part he came back was Spain and then indigenous Central America.
Wow.
I said, now you see Nigeria was ringing right there. And now he's in Honduras. So he was in Roatan from the Garifuna people. And I looked and I said, now, and then I went to Cuba. And another brother said to me in Cuba, he said, man, I hope that I have some African in me. I looked at him, I said, don't worry, you have some African in you. And the same scenario happened where he came back 80% from West Africa. And then of course he had the Taino people from there in Cuba. And then the same thing happened in Brazil. Damiana, she did hers, and hers came back. Now she had more Angola. Hers was more Angola, which kind of ties into the history. And so, these companies don't know who's sending in the samples, so when it happened, she saw the Angola show up, and then it went up into a little bit into, through Gabon and Cameroon, and then coming into West Africa. So Central West Africa going into West Africa. And so then the rest was coming in South America and then in the Caribbean. And so it was very, very fascinating to see this. And I tell everybody, the value is priceless. To have this knowledge is priceless.
So if you're just joining this live stream, I am with Jay Cameron, who is an entrepreneur. He's a motivator. He's a speaker. He's an author. His company, Maximum Impact, has been doing so much with connecting the diaspora to Africa. And he has citizenship in 2 African countries, Sierra Leone and Ghana. And today we're talking about how he got his citizenship in both countries. We've just been talking about how he got citizenship in Sierra Leone. If you're just joining us now, you'll have to watch the replay to hear him tell his story about how he got his citizenship in Sierra Leone. Let me just let you all know, if you're just joining, please do share where you are here from. We have Sharon Gooding, who is here. Good afternoon, everyone from America. Thank you for joining. Sel commenting on what we were saying. She said, we Black people are everywhere. That is so true. Continental Africans also need to take the test. It's interesting that you said that, because I know someone who had said that she has family members who want to take the test. And there are people are like, well, why would you take it? You're from here. And that person was saying that, but they want to know because there has been so much migration in the African continent that you could have DNA from different parts of Africa and not even know it.
I did that too. I brought the test over. I've done it. I came right to the heart of Ghana. And so what I did, I had several people on my team. I said, listen, what I want you to do, I want you to take Ancestry.com, and I want you to take African Ancestry. And this is why I tell people all the time. I even did an interview on my channel with Morris. So if you type in Jay Cameron, Morris, the interview will come up. This is where, because remember, I'm going to try to disprove. Because you hear people say, oh, it's just for entertainment purposes. You can't trust it. It's not real. So I want to go find out. So I said, well, the best way to find out is to come to the continent. And if somebody in Ghana shows up that they're from the US and they've never traveled or never been anywhere other than in Ghana, then we know it's fraudulent. But I'm going to tell you how precise Ancestry DNA brought it. It was mind blowing. It's two cases. Morris, he works with our team with Maximum Impact, and then Paul works with our team as well. Morris took the Ancestry DNA test. I said, well, Morris, you tell me where you're from. He said, well, my people are from he said, I'm from the eastern part of Ghana near Nigeria. They migrated right across from Togo, and that's where they come from. And they're the southeastern part of Ghana. I said, oh, okay. We're going to see if this is real. Well, that test came back and it pinpointed him to the southeastern part of Ghana. I said, well, what in the world is going on here? I said, well, you said this before they know, Ancestry didn't know what you were going to say. So then when Paul did it, what was interesting, he did the test, and Paul is from Winneba. So he's from the central region, but he has family, they were, for all over Ghana, but in particular from Winneba. So someone who he linked to on Ancestry. So what Ancestry DNA does is it allows you to connect with the other people you're related to. So there was someone in the U.S. who is, I guess, familiar with Ghana or from Ghana, or, they know very well. They said, they reached out to us and they said, whoever this person is on because the name doesn't come up, it just gives you initials. They said, whoever this person is must come from Winneba in Ghana, because this is where I'm from and we link in. And I said to myself, I said, wow. I said, well, he does come from Winneba. And that's where, and they knew enough about, they didn't know who he was. They still haven't met each other, don't know each other. But so what I say to everyone is that in me going around, because, you read history books and you hear all these different conspiracy theories and all of that. So I'm an investigator by nature. I'm someone who wants to get to the facts. I'm a contextual person. So I don't just give me one little piece of the story. I want to know the broader story, and that's why I take tests all over the world. If you see me traveling, I can guarantee you I have some DNA test with me. And I went out to Ethiopia, and the person in Ethiopia took the test and had DNA come in, just a small part. Now the majority, they were Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Somalia, but then there was a small part that tapped into the Khoisan people in South Africa. So that was fascinating to see. Another person in Ghana did African ancestry, and she did her maternal line. And when she did her maternal line, she was like, yes, I'm from this part of, Ghana, and this is where it is. Well, when it came back, the DNA, talking about the migrations, linked her to Equatorial Guinea. Guinea. Yes, it's and so the migrations, if you look at the Fulani people who they migrate, you'll find Fulani in everywhere, really. But in the northern parts of Ghana, Nigeria, and you'll see them going over into Senegal. You'll see, they say Fula some places, and then you go into Cameroon. But then you have different ethnic groups. And so when you think back, as far as all of our different ancestries, if you go back 500 years, you're looking at thousands of people in our DNA history. So they could come from, all over, but it's really fascinating to watch and see on the continent how people link to other people all over the world. So that's the beautiful part about Ancestry and 23andMe, because you could be related to someone. Because some people say, well, I know where I'm from, but you don't know everybody you're related to. And so when you see the relations, how people are connected, you'll have people in California linking to someone in Ghana, and they don't even know that they're third cousins. It's that type of thing that makes it really fascinating. And that's what I've discovered, just by taking all of the different tests and working them together to put together a more comprehensive and a broader story.
Right. And then we have YPM123 who says, also, the more Africans take the test, it will increase the sample size and lead to more accurate results.
Absolutely. It's I wish, it's the economics of it all, because when you look at, a lot of people on the continent are not going to, they're not shipping the test to the continent because it's not it's not something that many people see as valuable. But I see it as incredibly valuable, because when you're able to take that sample size and increase it, now you're bridging the gap. when you can meet a cousin that you didn't know existed, and it could be fourth or fifth cousin, it doesn't matter. You're still sharing a strand of DNA, because there's so many theories out here now. I talked about it in our previous interview. There are a lot of groups in the U.S. saying, well, we're not from Africa, and we're indigenous to America, and this is where we all came from. And then when the tests come back, because they want to try to debunk the test, but the test, if you're related to somebody, you're related to someone. It just is what it is. And so so what you find is that even with that there's some sort of connection. I did it, and I wanted to find out. I'd had my aunt, my father's mother do it. I said, well, I mean, my father's sister do it. I said, well, we about to find out if we're related. And it came back, we were related. I had my mother do it. I said, well, we're about to find out if this thing is real. And it came back, she's my mother. My sons came back, my sons were my sons. What a beautiful thing to discover. So it's like, these are, my cousins that I didn't know I had. And the way that it worked was that, I looked at the family history, and I could look and see all of these people, cousins and aunts and uncles. My sisters, one of my sister's children took the DNA, and it showed up that he linked to me. So we, if it's fraudulent, then I'm trying to poke holes in it, just with me, because I know my story. But every time it comes back, and I encourage you, if you can, and I know people are concerned about, what's going to happen to their DNA. I get it, and I don't dismiss that. But the thing that I also want to remind everybody, that if you've ever given a blood sample, or if you've ever given a urine sample, if you've ever been to the doctor and they've done any of those kind of tests, they already have the information they need, and they won't necessarily. So true. It's like, it's in the system already. If you've ever done it, they said, well, they can't do it. Sure, they can. They do whatever they want to do. So, but I do understand the concerns. I do understand, but for me, it just got to a point where me having the information was more valuable than anything. And so what it's done is unlocked and opened so many doors for conversation. And it helps people, really understand their story a little bit more. So so that's the deal.
Okay. Sharon Gooding says, I'll be visiting Africa one day. We hope you do. We really do. Kofi Uzuma, happy blessed new year to Ivy and Jay. Happy New Year. We have Eden, East Africa. Hi, family, watching you from South Africa. Thanks for joining. Kofi is obviously in the US, says it's 3:40 p.m. I'm glad you're joining us and spending your afternoon with us. Kofi says, Ivy, can we see you doing more live streaming in 2025? Certainly. I'm working towards doing a live stream every week. Kofi is really engaged. I appreciate you. Ivy, you have a great brother, Jay, on here today. Jay is
Thank you,
awesome.
Kofi. Thank you.
It's awesome. Always great to have Kofi on. And Kofi's really been engaging. Can you all watch this live streaming right now? Click the like button and subscribe and donate to this channel. Thank you for saying that. Anyone who's watching, you want to make a donation, do a super thanks, just tap the symbol on the bottom right corner of the chat, and you can make a donation right there directly. I also take donation through Zelle. If you have Zelle, you just use it, ivyprosper@gmail.com for Zelle. I appreciate you so much, everybody. We have Bitmax, who says, I took my test through African Ancestry. Oh, that's great. I hope that, let me see. Oh, you have another comment. Bitmax, you took your test through African Ancestry, and I was able to trace my DNA to the Balanta people in Guinea-Bissau. That's great.
Excellent.
That's fantastic. I love to hear stories of people being able to connect. That's awesome. So awesome. Kofi says, congratulations, President Mahama and the first woman vice president. Oh, yes, there was a recent election in Ghana, for those who don't know. So Ghana has its first female vice president. Thank you so much. Sel is referencing something that you said, Jay, saying, yes, the pretendians say they are not from Africa. This is wild.
Those colonizers did their job. They know what they're doing. If you keep confusion out there, and I always challenge them to say, well, go visit West Africa. If you think that you don't have any connection and you think that it went the other way and all of that, if you think that's the case, go visit and look at all of your aunties and uncles and cousins and everybody. You don't even need DNA. It's one of these things that you don't need it. You'll
You
see
can,
it, you'll feel it. It'll
yeah.
it'll be something in you. When I think about the different ethnic groups that are indigenous, or the ones that we know that are indigenous, the Cherokee and the Choctaw. When now, don't get me wrong, there's a piece of that in many of us, a piece of that, and some of us have more than others. So it's not, again, the African diaspora is very diverse within itself. So I don't want to take away from the fact that there is some legitimacy to that. But the
Hmm.
fact that when someone comes with a blanket generalized statement to say everybody is not from there, and there's a movement that goes on. I mean, there are millions, well, thousands or tens of thousands, hundred thousands of people who are engaging in this, and they'll come and have conversations with me, and I'm saying, have you been to West Africa? I've yet met one. I met one guy saying he was in East Africa. I said, come on over to the West. I said, because when you get to the West, there's no denying it. You
You
know
can
the
see it.
you can feel it, you can see it, you know it. But when you have gaslit yourself, or you're dealing with cognitive dissonance to the fact that where the facts will be staring you in the face and you won't want to acknowledge it, then there's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is say, hey, you know what? All right, if that's what you want to believe, it's not. What can we say? The
Mhm.
freedom came when I say the freedom in my mind came when I went to Nigeria, and I'm getting off of the plane in Nigeria, and I'm going through customs, and the people are saying to me, "You're not." I give them my blue passport, which is worn down too. I use it a lot too. I give them my blue passport, and they say, "You're no, 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 no. You're not from the U.S. What are you talking about? You're Igbo from Nigeria. You cannot be." And I said, "Yes, I am." They're like, "No, you traveled, you went there to go to school, and then you're coming back to Nigeria." I said, "No, I was born in the US, and this is actually my third or fourth time visiting Nigeria." And so when the people who are native to a place think that you are from there, that really
Mhm.
that tells you everything right there. It's I
Mhm.
mean, it's an amazing feeling. All of the things that I was told about, they don't like you over there, they don't want you over there, and all of that. I have not had that to be my experience as a normal occurrence. Of course, you run into characters everywhere, but as far as the welcoming vibes and the way the food tastes, the culture, the way that people move, it's just like something within my DNA that wakes up and says, "This is a part of you too." So it's
Mhm.
hey, but again, to each his own. But I just know that
Yeah.
somebody can't tell me where I came from.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a comment here. Yep, exactly. I found a fourth cousin in Liberia. They are right on the border of Salone. That's really cool. I love
Yes,
hearing stories like that. I love hearing stories like that. And then we have a comment here from Cell saying the test is worth it regardless of the concerns. They already have the DNA. Knowledge is power. Thank you so much. Um, there's so much happening in the comments. I love that you're all engaged. Fred Nontera says, much love to Ivy and Jay. Thank you so much. African ancestral traces your DNA to the exact tribe. That is so true. And that's why Sierra Leone has been able to use that as their pathway to citizenship.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a really, really great. And so now let's jump to Jay is now also a citizen of Ghana.
Absolutely. Well,
Some of you may have seen Can you hear me?
All right, that Ghana did that Ghana internet get you?
Yeah, Ghana. And so my power went out, and so my internet went off, and so thankfully I just had to put my phone on hotspot.
Oh,
I had to hotspot my phone to my laptop now. This is some of the stuff that happens when you're in Ghana.
that's right. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and so well, let's just dive in real quick because my phone
Sure.
also only has 14% power right
All
now.
right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
So let's dive in. Thankfully I have this ring light that's plugged into my laptop. So yeah, so let's dive in. Apologies on the interruption. The power went out here in Ghana. They call it Dumso, light off. So Jay, let's dive in. You have Ghanaian citizenship. Tell us how you got Ghanaian citizenship. People want to know. You're an African American. How did you do it?
All right. So the Year of Return and Beyond Return initiatives in Ghana kicked off in 2019, and actually, and I want to make sure we give props to President Mahama as well, because President Mahama started a lot of this previously. Yeah, look at that. See, so definitely want to recognize what President Mahama started and how the Akufo-Addo administration had continued this and really took it to another level. And you were instrumental in this, Ivy. So I'll always sing your praises in regards to this. But for many people, the Year of Return initiative brought a lot of interest to Ghana. I actually visited Ghana for the first time in 2018. And so when the opportunity for those who were those of the African diaspora, they opened the doors for citizenship to come to Ghana. A lot of people took advantage of it. But the reason why I wanted to make sure I was a part of it was not to take advantage of Ghana. I put the work in Ghana, into Ghana, meaning I spend time there. I'm a part of the culture. I own property there, so it's not just me coming to get a passport. It's really where I've established myself. And I've been promoting Ghana to the world. And I want people to know the beauty of the culture and the people. And so when this last opportunity came around, I said it was important for me to be a part of a place that I believe in. And I'll be very honest with you, I do not believe in the United States system at all. I do not believe in what it does and how it terrorizes the rest of the world. Yes, I recognize the benefits of, being a U.S. citizen because purely from an economic standpoint and because of what my ancestors did here in the U.S. But as far as having this national pride and walking around with a flag on me and all of that, absolutely not. You'll never see it happen because I understand the broader context and the history of this particular country. So when it came to Ghana and when it came to Sierra Leone, I wanted to have a place where I felt a connection to where I felt like I was contributing in a way that would be beneficial on a larger scale. And that's when Ghana opened those doors. I was able to connect with Ambassador Bennett. So I have to definitely send my shout out to the Diaspora Africa Forum, that's who I made my connection through. They were professional. They made it happen. And that's who I would advise anybody if you're looking to connect and not deal with some of the foolishness that comes along with some, I'll try to make it, be as politically, Ivy, I don't know how to be politically correct sometimes, but I'm going to be as politically correct as I can be right about now. Let me tell y'all something. Who you want to go with is Ambassador Bennett in the Diaspora Africa Forum if you want to get your pathway into citizenship into Ghana, because she knows she's one of the key people, very instrumental in knowing those who are part of the Department of Interior, and she can guide you and advise you properly. And she has a heart for the historical African diaspora coming back and being a part of Ghana and understanding. That's where she's established her roots. I definitely want to send a shout out to Rabbi Kohen for his encouragement along the way, as he encouraged me through the whole process. So these are when I think about it, one, don't just go to get the passport and then just, run, but actually go and be a part of the community and part of the culture. I talked about it on the channel. I love Ghana so much. But I don't love it to the point where I don't recognize the challenges. I'm not, sometimes people get in a relationship and they just love the person. They just see past everything and they get their heart broken over and over again. I'm not to that point. But I love Ghana. I love the people. I love the the way that you can move about, and I see the direction that Ghana is going in. And I see that Ghana has extended itself in a way to the African diaspora, the historical African diaspora, in ways that other places may not have. Of course, Sierra Leone is being one as well. But when you see someone who's being a country that's being intentional about opening its doors, then that's something to pay attention to. And so when you pay attention to it and you recognize it, it was sitting right there. It was saying, hey, listen, I spent so much time there. I brought so many people there over the past 3 years. And it's just it's something that, when it's like having a little piece, another little piece of Africa, another little piece in the DNA strand, because I descend from Ghana too. I descend from that part of the world. When I look at the comprehensive aspect of my genetic makeup, I come from that part of the world as well. So, the line that went to Sierra Leone was the line that was detected through African ancestry. But then when I looked at the broader context, I was able to see, the parts of Ghana and Togo and Benin and Nigeria that were able to link me to that part of the world. So again, the Diaspora Africa Forum is how I was able to make the connection. I encourage everyone to reach out to them. Let them know that let them know Jay sent you, because they're really doing the work and have been doing the work consistently for many, many, many years. And so if that is something that you're interested in, now, I don't know what the Mahama administration is going to do moving forward. That's why we were able to, we got in on the last few hours of the Akufo-Addo administration. So I don't know what's happening, with the Mahama administration, but because President Mahama got it kicked off, I am confident that he will continue with the embracing of the historical African diaspora returning. And it's not just African Americans, because a lot of times African Americans, get the publicity because of the way African Americans are positioned in the world. But I saw people from the Caribbean there. I saw people from Canada there. I saw people from the United Kingdom there, and other parts of the African diaspora. So it's a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful day. And now I look forward to getting back to Ghana and continuing to bring people to Ghana and being that bridge to give them options. I had an interview with a lady named Shonda O'Neill, and she's living in near near Ebery, if I'm not mistaken. And so she's there, and she's able to take her small income in the United States and actually expand it or extend it there in Ghana. She's built her dream home. And so some people wonder, what's the benefit? Because I was on a podcast, Stay by Plan, with Api and Zoo. And so we were talking about the benefits of those coming from the African diaspora coming to Ghana, and maybe some of the negatives, because sometimes the prices go up. But sometimes with the prices going up, the incomes can go up. And so those of us from the African diaspora coming with businesses, for me, what I make sure is the people who are on my team in Ghana, that they're able to increase their income. So they don't stay there. I don't come there and just try to pay them the lowest amount because I can. What I try to do is to elevate everyone's income so that they can fulfill and live the dreams that they want to live, build homes and go to school and whatever it is that they want to do. And I encourage people who come on my tours, hey, make sure that when you tip, that you tip generously, because we don't want to come here and just take advantage. We want to make sure that we contribute, and not from a charity standpoint, because everyone works, everyone wants to be respected, but to make sure that we come and we bring our resources back and honor and respect the people in Ghana. So that's the deal with my Ghanaian citizenship. So you'll be seeing much more coming down the pike.
Okay. So so you said that they have to connect. They should connect. You recommend they connect with the Diaspora Africa Forum if they're looking at ways of getting citizenship. So does that mean that anyone can just reach out, even if they've never been to Ghana before? Should they have been living in Ghana? Should they have been investing in Ghana, based on your experience? Because I did a video where I talked about what the actual process is, the laws of getting citizenship in Ghana, and explained that this was a different kind of case under that. Yeah. So should people reach out to Diaspora Africa Forum, even though it's a new administration? What is your suggestion?
I definitely recommend reaching out and finding out what the process is now, because normally there is an extended process to become a citizen of Ghana. So you have to go through, obviously getting your residency and going through all the different protocols. That's the normal process. But the government has become more intentional about easing that process and making the pathway a little bit smoother. So when you reach out to the Diaspora Africa Forum, they can give you information to help you understand, okay, this is what the process is like. The other good part about the Diaspora Africa Forum is that they can connect you with reputable real estate professionals so that when you go over to Ghana, you're just not running into anybody, who's, any person that's just out there selling land. They can actually connect you with reputable real estate professionals and others to help guide you along the way. So first step, reach out to them and they can tell you what the next steps are as it pertains to the new administration and what what the process is now, because they are under a new administration and there are going to be new appointees in the different positions in the Office of Diaspora Affairs and in the Interior Department. So you're going to see where there is a difference. But you know what? President Mahama may say, hey, listen, I started this, so, I want to take it to another level. But the thing you want to do is at least have the information and know what the process is. And that's where the Diaspora Africa Forum can assist you.
So were there fees associated with it? Some people have asked me that question.
Oh, absolutely. Let me say this. Anytime yes, there are going to be fees associated with it. You're going to have to obviously pay for the passport and the applications, and those fees change. So I think my fee might have been somewhere around $300. The one thing you'll understand about Ghana is that anything is subject to change. It can change in a heartbeat. So just be prepared for that, and sometimes in Ghana, you may say one thing on the website and then you may get there and it may double in price. It's no need to, even if you want the citizenship or if you want, whatever you're trying to get done, you pay the fee and you keep it moving. But I've not experienced any astronomical fees where you had to spend thousands of dollars or anything like that. Now I do know there were some people out there selling citizenships, but that was not the Diaspora Africa Forum. There were some people out there trying to sell them, but that people were commenting and having issues with that. That's why I want to point you in a direction of something reputable, so an organization is reputable, so you're not walking down that road of having to spend an insane amount of money to try to get citizenship. So just know there may be fees, but if you're spending more than $10,000 or anything like that, then you probably are getting scammed or some kind of way. So just make sure that you know who you're talking to and understand the process. If there is a fee, understand the value of the fee, and just sometimes you got to leave America in America and just go and understand that it may be a little bit different in Ghana and keep the big picture in mind. But those are things. Oh yeah, I see James. Yes, I was there with Dr. Umar. We were talking several times. We had a great conversation. So yes, we were all right in that same bunch, and I think the hip hop. Atlanta hip hop people were there.
Some reality stars or something were there. So some people were even asking me, they're like, did these celebrities come and pay to get their citizenship? Do they even live in Ghana? Why are they getting it in Ghana? That's what a lot of people have been asking me. They've been asking me these questions. I'm like, I don't know. You'd have to ask those people directly.
Yeah, you'd have to ask them directly. I know I didn't pay for mine. Let me say that. I didn't pay for mine. So I paid for mine with the time, effort, and energy and support that I contributed to Ghana. I mean, everybody was kind of surprised that I wasn't already a Ghanaian citizen. They were like, we're surprised that you weren't, that you didn't get an honorary, because of the amount of work that's gone in. I know that, again, I can't speak to anybody else's situation, but what I can say is this, is that you want to do your due diligence. And I know what worked for me. I know Dr. Bennett and her organization worked for me. I can't speak about anybody else's organization, and I would not speak to anybody negatively about anybody else's organization without knowing it myself. But I know what worked for me, and I know that I'm very particular about how I advise people, because people trust what I say, and they trust that if I'm doing it. And normally, what I'll do is I'll go first, and then I'll be the guinea pig, And then if it works for me, then I'll say, hey, this is what works for me. Again, I'm not one for like foolishness and games and all of that other kind of stuff that come with the different territories. So just know this is what worked for me. And I believe that if you reach out and you do your due diligence, you'll find the path that works best for you.
Okay. We have Face Max who says hello from Georgetown, Washington, D.C. The DMV is represented.
DMV. I'm in the DMV right now.
J President John Mahama started before Nana. Yeah, he did mention that. Maybe this comment came before he said it. So yeah, definitely. And then he says, Kwame Olatunji says, even before 2016, in the late 80s, the right of abode, 1990s, diaspora African community in Africa, JJR, all need to be credited. So the right of abode is in the law since, I believe, the year 2000 or 2001. And it is a law that says that people of African descent have the right to live in Ghana. Now, through the normal process of citizenship, because this process of citizenship that Jay received was under the year of return, beyond the return initiatives to get the diaspora connected to Ghana. And excuse me, my throat is scratching.
Sure. All right, I'm gonna jump in here right now. So yes, like last interview, Ivy. But you're right. It did start, and these initiatives have started. Even Ethiopia had an initiative many years ago, welcoming people back to their country. So it's and credit to everyone who's paved the way, because a lot of times I credit the people who were also behind it. I also credit the people behind the scenes who were processing all of those applications leading down to the 11th hour. They're the unsung heroes that many people will never know about. They were working overtime. They were getting information in, people were like, oh, someone else needs to come in and do their biometrics. And they were hanging in there, making it happen. So I recognize it. Many of them now are, in different, they're not a part of this administration, but they played their part in moving Ghana forward. And I say that because now it's like expanding the family. And I just hope that those who have been afforded citizenship really understand and respect the process, and don't come in and disrespect the people of Ghana. That's the one thing. That's the one thing you won't see me doing, coming in and disrespecting the people of Ghana, because they're people who've been there and they've paved the way and they've done a lot. Just like in the U.S., a lot of people, when if you come to the U.S., to not disrespect what the forerunners have done before us, they've gone and paved the way and made things happen, so that all of us could enjoy and become global citizens. That's what it really is. We're citizens of this earth, not just one area. We're citizens of this earth, and so when we can move around, just like the Europeans move around, they go back and forth and come in, and when we can move around like that, then we can establish these connections. And that's where a lot of our power, our collective power, will come from.
So let's jump to the comments here. People are really, so I showed this one on the screen about the 2016, late 80s right of abode. So we have a comment here saying Africa needs industrialization. That's on a whole nother tangent, but yes, there's more industrialization. I also think growth in tech will also help move the continent forward. Jay, just meet with President John Mahama when you go back to Ghana.
I hope to. I want to. I want to meet President Mahama. I want to meet President Mahama. So I'm going to work on that when I get back. I would love to meet with him, and I'm sure that when he hears my story and all of what I've been able to contribute to Ghana, I think we'll have a great discussion. So I'm gonna put it out there. I look forward to meeting you, President Mahama, when I return to Ghana.
And then he said he met Dr. Cambone. He's a good brother. Have you met Dr. Cambone yet? I'm sure you have.
No, I have not.
Oh, you haven't yet? Okay.
No, I need to.
Yeah, I thought you would. I thought for some reason I thought you would have already.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So in the comments, good to hear from brother. Ghana or Africa is on the go. Good luck to you, brother.
Thank you.
Half of those watching this live stream right now have not clicked on the like button. Thank you, Kofi. Everybody hit the like button. Share this video for people who you believe want this information. We started off talking about Jay Cameron having citizenship in Sierra Leone. You'll have to watch the replay, go back and watch when we talked about how he got citizenship. Right now, we're talking about citizenship in Ghana, which is a question that a lot of people are asking. And he just went through the process that he went through with citizenship. A reminder, he suggested connecting with the Diaspora Africa Forum. And typically, when you go for citizenship in Ghana, the typical way is coming into the country and obtaining residency using the right of abode to get your residency. After you get residency, then you can apply for citizenship. The areas of people that are assisting with the whole process are the Ministry of Interior, Ghana Immigration, Office of Diaspora Affairs, Diaspora Africa Forum. Those are all organizations involved in the citizenship process in Ghana. Now, typically, citizenship can take up to 8 years in Ghana.
Yeah.
However, this process was faster because the president, facilitated it. It's under the whole year of return, beyond the return initiatives of making sure to connect the diaspora with the continent of Africa through Ghana. So if you are looking to, as he suggested, connect with the Diaspora Africa Forum and get information, at least to get started. And then when you're in Ghana, things move better and move quicker if you're actually in the country. So I always tell people who are coming to Ghana, who ask me the question of, can I come for citizenship? Come to the country first. Come and visit. Come and be here and have your feet on the ground, because it's easier for you to be like, let me go to this office, let me go to that office, let me go ask this person, when you're actually on the ground. Ghana is very much into human connection. And I know a lot of people will say they sent an email to this particular government agency, they're waiting to hear back an email. And a lot of times people are not so quick to respond on the email. So you'll get a faster response if you're actually in the country and you're able to just, get in a car, make your way over and talk to the people in person. So I suggest actually being in the country, making a trip here so that you can actually, build the connections, build the relationships, and be able to, work your way towards it. So let me get back to the comments here. This question keeps coming up. How did Umar get citizenship? According to him, he's been coming to Ghana since 2011. I'm not sure how long he's been coming to Ghana. I know he came in 2019, but as for the frequency, I've not seen him here often, but I'm not sure how long he's been coming to the country. So I can't really how long he's been coming. American gospel singer Jonathan McReynolds, Stevie Wonder, and the two oldest survivors of the Tulsa Massacre were given citizenship. That is true. They were all given citizenship under the president's discretion. You have to visit Piquoro Slave Camp in the Upper East region. Yes, the Upper East region is a great place to visit. The Upper East has a very rich culture, as he said. It's definitely a place that you should add to your journey when you do come to Ghana. He added Sandama. I have not been to Sandama. I'm guessing that's also in the Upper East. Wisdom Owusu, appreciate you both. I've been following both of you since 2019, 2020, thereabouts. Few people have been as instrumental in the current wave of exodus of our kith and kin as you two. Thank you so much. Really appreciate comments like this. I really appreciate comments like this. It means a lot. I think Bitmax, you got a thing for the Upper East. Do you live there? Go to Paga Crocodile Pond. I agree. I've been to Upper East. It's a great place for you to visit. There's some peace and calm there.
Is that near Togo?
It's near Burkina Faso border.
Ah, okay. Really Upper East. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Cell says, yes, those who want Ghanaian citizenship should go through the diaspora forum only. Wisdom. I'm loving all these comments here. You should see me beaming with a broad smile as I watch Jay get his citizenship. He's as Ghanaian as they come. Proud of him.
Thank you, Wisdom. I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. And the good thing, Ivy, is so many Ghanaians have, and wherever I go, if I'm in London, if I was in Brixton, and there are a lot of Ghanaians in London. And so they'll come up to me and they'll say, Jay, I was watching you. Or if I'm in DC and I go to one of the like if I go to Apio or Rahama, one of the West African restaurants, and they were like, "Man, I was watching you, and this is what you were doing, and this is what was happening." And so many Ghanaians, and of course a lot of Nigerians as well, but in particular Ghanaians will come up to me, and they know, they can feel that this is not just something I'm doing for the sake of doing it. They can feel that Ghana is in my heart. They can feel it's in my DNA. And they know it's more than just transactional, it's relational. And that's what that's my relationship with Ghana. It is relational, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Kofi says we need everyone here to click on the like button and subscribe and donate to this channel for our African Queen Ivy here. Thank you so much, Kofi. I appreciate you. Another reminder, if you want to donate to the channel, just hit the button on the bottom of the chat to do a super thanks or a super chat. You can also donate through Zelle, through email, Zelle, ivyprosper@gmail.com. I appreciate you all. Back to the comments here. Here's citizenship, the citizenship certificate. There it is. 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 There it is.
Oh, we got the blur on. The blur is blurring it, but it's right here. There we go. I love it. I love it.
How does it feel holding that?
It's for someone who was afraid of the continent of Africa for so many years, the majority of my life, and for someone who didn't even have an interest in coming to Africa, I had the opportunities to even go to South Africa, and I said, "No, that's all right. That's all right." But to go and to have the awakening and to have the connection, it's an indescribable feeling. It's one of these things where you've been suffocated for so long, and then now you can breathe. And that's what happened when I took my first trip to Ghana. And so by spending so much time there and bringing so many people, we have groups coming to Ghana in a couple of days, and just watching how other people are able to breathe after coming to Ghana, it's really an indescribable feeling. All right.
Reconnecting.
There you go. I lose you? Yeah, yeah. Just for a second there. That okay. Good Ghana internet.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I'm losing you. Okay, we're back. If you live in Ghana, you know the trials and tribulations of the internet sometimes. It's also one of the reasons why I also limited live streams sometimes, because sometimes you just be like, oh man, why is this always happening?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the comments. I always love hearing how engaged everybody is. Shalom, Ivy and Jay, Mama D and Malachi. Love you guys. Saw you both at the Diaspora Awards ceremony. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the ceremony. Rootsman Sunny, hi, they're watching from Aruba. Hope to be in Ghana this August. Wow. Wow. Thank you for joining from Aruba.
Rootsman
First
Sunny.
time I've had someone from there. Thank you so much. And then we have Kofi Azuma. You always engage. Ivy, you have to let us know when you're coming live. Well, I put it on my Twitter and on my LinkedIn today. So I probably should have put it on Facebook. I missed the Facebook. Okay, so let's hear a controversial comment. Fitzroy Dacre says, any disrespect, just revoke citizenship. Wait, disrespect? Revoke citizenship from who? Please explain, because you made one sentence. I want to know. Please explain. Or are you saying if people disrespect the country or disrespect, somebody in the country, then they should get their citizenship revoked? Please explain. I want to know. Kofi says, Jay, I can make that happen for you if you want to meet with President John Mahama.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Now, Ivy, this is going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely.
And it's not. It's simply because I think President Mahama, he's been there before, so he's been president before. He sees, every administration recognizes the accomplishments of another administration. While, obviously when they're debating and campaigning, they see where maybe some of the challenges were. But I think President Mahama, because he started it, meaning that back in I believe it was 2016 or so, he started this wave of it. I know there were others working, even if we go back to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, but if we take recent days, President Mahama and the work that he put in before the previous administration, before the previous administration, I think that that's something that we can always look to as well. So I look forward to meeting him and having a conversation, and hey, who knows where it goes from there.
Most definitely. I think that he seems like he's open to meeting with people, having discussions. I think a large part of it, with him having been in leadership before, I feel like perhaps he may have learned from mistakes, learned from the experiences, and now wants to do whatever he can to prove his capabilities. He only has one term to do it now because he's done one term already. And technically he's done a term and a half because he became president by default when President Mills died while in office.
Okay.
Yes, he became president while President Atta Mills was in office and died. And then because he was vice president, he automatically became president. And then almost 2 years later, the next election, people elected him. So after the one term, he had one elected term, then he was voted out and people brought in Akufo-Addo, and then, now he's back. So we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Yes.
Yeah. Rootsman, Cell comment responded to Rootsman saying, wow, Aruba? I wonder which West tribes with descendants are there. Yeah, I wonder.
You'd be amazed. It's when you spend time in the Caribbean, like when I spend time in Cuba, it's like being in parts of West Africa. I was in Costa Rica and I said, well, I feel like I'm in Ghana somewhere. I said, what is going on? They had the cocoa trees, they had the pineapples, and I said, well, the mangoes. Cuba has the mangoes. I've never seen so many mangoes like what I've seen in Cuba. So it's when you go to the Caribbean, you're in Central America, you're just like, why the connection is there. And then when you go to Brazil, you understand Brazil is right across from Angola and Namibia and South Africa. It's literally right across the Atlantic Ocean. And so you can see how the connections even fall into place there. It's when you get out and you see the world, you see that there are more similarities than what you realize. And it's a beautiful thing. The people are beautiful. I really wish the connection could happen between the Caribbean and West Africa and Central Africa. I really wish that could happen, because like Jamaica and Ghana, Haiti and Benin, there are these connections that are undeniable. I'm going to Bongo.
Totally undeniable. I'm feeling hot, so I was using my fan.
Oh, okay. You just got to give me a sign. Say, just a little blue flash,
Kofi says, Jay, make sure you go to Bongo in the Upper East.
I will. I'm going to spend some time in Ghana and really go. I've been up to Tamale. I've been out to Takoradi. I've been, of course, through the Central Region in Kumasi. I've been out to Tema. I've not been to Ada yet. Got close, but not all the way to Ada. So there are more places. I've been to the Volta region, so I want to go and explore more of Ghana. So that's coming. Now that I'm a citizen, I want to know, even more and more about Ghana.
And you will. Hey, Kofi, Ivy has a big, beautiful smile. Thank you. I got it from my father. Got it from my father. Thank you so much. We're going to wrap up in maybe like 5 minutes. We've been on for like about an hour, almost an hour and a half. We've been on almost an hour and a half. Let me just go through these last few comments, and then I'll have Jay give his final words, and then we will close for the evening. So Zongo Native, Jay Cameron should be the ambassador of African Americans in Ghana. This man has the character and conduct to qualify for that position. Yes.
Well, thank you, Zongo Native. I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That is a good one. Yeah.
Yes.
I love seeing others get that experience that we had. Big tears of joy. Definitely tears of joy. Waving hey from Chile, Chicago. Pro woman. Yeah,
All
I'm sure
right.
it's cold. I'm sure it's cold.
Freezing. Freezing in Chicago. It's freezing in DC.
I'm coming back to Ghana in a few months, Queen Ivy. I'd love to do lunch. Thank you for the offer. I do get a lot of people offering to meet up. I can't promise anything because with so many requests, I just don't have the bandwidth to meet with every person that makes requests. I do appreciate it. Jay, it would be very good if you could have met with Akufo-Addo. Is that an artist? Is that an artist, Kof? Is that an artist? Ahija Israel says, yes, Ivy, our adopted daughter. Remember we saw you at the white party too. Oh, yes, I did. Yes. I remember. I remember. I remember. Kofi Ozuma says, Akufo-Addo is a different, funny character. Please, where is he? We missed him. I want to know who he is.
Yeah, I want to know who he is too, because I like characters.
He's in the USA. I mean, I want to know who this is.
I do too. I'm a character as well. Characters like characters, you know.
Harold Jones says a lot of Sierra Leoneans were taken to Cuba.
I believe it.
Wow.
I believe it. It's again a being of I have Cuban in my ancestry, and that showed up, and that was a little bit of a surprise. But then again, it wasn't. But I love Cuba. I feel at home in Cuba for some strange reason.
The connection with the Caribbean and Africa is very strong. It sure is. We cannot deny that. Ivy, will the Office of Diaspora Affairs be kept? If not, Muhammad's presidency should be informed on how y'all worked studiously to promote tourism. I don't know. I know the office is there right now. I used to work at the Beyond the Return office, which is under Ghana Tourism Authority. The Diaspora Affairs office is under the presidency. So I'm not sure what President Mahama plans to do with the Office of Diaspora Affairs right now, but for now, the office is still there. He's only been in office for about a week now. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but for now, they are there. And Beyond the Return is also still there as well under Ghana Tourism Authority. And they worked together on many different things throughout the initiative over the last like almost 6 years now. So thank you for that question. Wisdom says, from what I gather, the new VPs got graduate degrees, African Diaspora Studies. In fact, she was one of the 5 scholars selected in 2007 to deliver a lecture during the 200th anniversary of but I think you may have missed the rest of your sentence there, but that's fine. Thank you for your comment. Ivy Prosper, research bioidentical hormones. They relieve menopause symptoms quickly. You watched Jay's video. You watched my video with Jay.
I think he might have seen the fan, or she pro woman. I think pro woman might have seen the fan. She might have seen the fan.
Oh, thank you. All right. Let's see. Abolition of slavery at the UN. Okay, I'm not sure where that came from, which part of the conversation. Jay, when is your documentary coming out? Because you have put a couple of teasers out.
Yes, we are in the final stages of it, so we're looking forward to releasing it sometime first quarter this year. So we have another video that's about to another promotional video that's about to drop. It features actually Ambassador Bennett and Rabbi Kohen, so both of them are featured in it. It's just a really nice teaser, I should say, and we captured so much content. Oh wow, it's like, even the first documentary that we released, we could release another 3 or 4 documentaries. We have that much. We have an exclusive interview with you, Ivy, and so many others there in Accra. But then we came over here to the U.S. and got interviews. We have Mama Marimba. So she was huge when it came to the Black American movement. But she resides in Atlanta. She also resides in Pram Pram. So it's it's just wonderful to see these connections. So stay tuned first quarter of this year for Ghana, The Awakening. That is the documentary, and it'll be fitting to celebrate the citizenship as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the documentary as well. You did so much work putting that together. It's going to be a really, really great one. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Okay. First, the last few comments here. That should ally any apprehensions about continuity of the great thing we've got going. There may be a typo there, but I think I understand what you're saying about the continuity of the Beyond the Return diaspora affairs initiatives happening. Kofi says it's freezing in Pennsylvania. All y'all need to come into the heat. Stop complaining about the cold. Come to the heat.
It's cold in DC. It's cold here.
Akuma Boateng says, first time watching you guys. What a beautiful channel. I started following. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody watching and joining here. Zongo native Kofi Wayo is a Ghanaian politician with Southern accent from America. He used to make how African politicians feel very dumb and foolish and never care for their country and people. Okay. I'm going to have to Google this person because I'm not sure who he is, but I'll have to Google it. Thank you. And Samuel Kwame Opong, yes, this man deserves citizenship. Larry Jackson, I married my wife from Ghana, and it's hard to get dual citizenship. Yeah, the marriage one is only supposed to take 2 to 5 years, but for some reason, I've been hearing stories about people who've been saying it's been taking a little bit longer, but it's supposed to be 2 to 5 years. I would say follow up. Don't get lost in the shuffle of paperwork. Keep reminding them, because when you keep pushing, because I also heard of somebody who got hers in 2 years after marrying a Ghanaian. So just follow up. Don't fill it out and send it to them and wait. Follow up so they don't forget that you are there, you are pushing for it. Because you can get lost in the shuffle if you don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You better stay on it. You better stay on it.
Yeah. Ali Colon says, Jay, do you do consulting?
Not yet, but if you all follow me on my YouTube channel, I have some exciting things coming up. All you have to do is type my name in, Jay Cameron, on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram. You follow me on any of those platforms. I do have some very interesting interviews coming up, and I'm going to be walking you through my journey and how I did things. So it's kind of like a group consulting, if you will. If you so it won't be individual consulting, but if you watch enough of my content, I give you the playbook and you'll able to say, oh, that's how he did it. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. And I'll, if you just follow, you'll see how we're going to start introducing more and more details about the journey and about the process. So stay tuned. Be sure to follow me, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok too. But just type in Jay Cameron Official and you will find me.
He's very easy to find. Even if you just type Jay Cameron into Google, you
It
will
comes up.
Yeah, he comes up. You'll definitely find him. So it won't be a challenge. Wisdom says, Jay, when are you back in the DMV? He's in the DMV right now.
I'm in the DMV right now.
He's in the DMV right now. And then Zongo Native, it's not freezing the Pacific Northwest. Thank God.
I don't know how that happens. I don't know how Seattle and Portland ignore all of this freezing cold in that part of the world.
West coast of Canada with Vancouver too. They don't get as cold in their winters. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it happens.
Yeah. Ali Colon, love the brothers, can do, attitude, respect, excellent show, Ivy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And on that note, Jay, I would love you to share any last words, how people can reach you, what's coming up next, give you some final thoughts.
Sure. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If whether you've come in late in the discussion or you've been here the whole time, it is an honor to be here with Ivy. It's always an honor to share about the experience being a Black American man who has traveled to the continent of Africa, who was awakened to the realities of what I didn't know. Honest to say, I was very ignorant about the continent of Africa, but the people in the different countries, the 25 different countries that I've traveled to, have helped to educate me, and they've walked me through the process. So I appreciate it. If you want to find me, you can find me at Jay Cameron Official. Be sure to check out my children's book series about Ghana and other countries. My animated series is coming real soon. You'll see how we've taken the creative aspects so that our children begin to learn about Africa and the different countries and the different cultures. So you can check that out. You can get the books on Amazon, and you'll definitely be able to see the videos, the animated series on YouTube. But with all of that said, I thank you for watching. Be sure to check out Maximum Impact Travel if you're looking to travel to different parts of the African diaspora. That's something that we specialize in, and we look forward to bridging the gap. They're not just trips, they're experiences, and that's what we look forward to sharing with you. So, Ivy, I thank you for all of the work that you do, tireless work that you have done, and how you have contributed to inspiring tens of thousands of people to come to Ghana. And as a result, it has opened their minds and changed their lives. And you are a trailblazer. You are a pioneer. You are a thought leader and someone that everyone should acknowledge and respect for your efforts. And I know that there is more continued success and more on the way for you. And I can't wait to be on the sidelines watching it. So thank you for sharing your platform with me. And I look forward to more and more conversations as we bridge the gap between Africa and the African diaspora. So I thank you, Ivy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words, Jay. I have high level respect for you as well. I'm glad that we've been able to connect, establish a relationship, a friendship. And I learn a lot from you too. And I watch you from the sidelines and see how amazing it is to see how you had a few people come to Ghana, and now a few years later, you have like hundreds of people coming. You know, it's like every quarter there's like different people coming to Ghana. You're taking people to, East Africa, to South Africa, and then now having expanded to, the Caribbean, other parts of the world, to show people that we're all connected in some way, and it's not just one place. It's like there's a big tree, which is the root on the continent, and that root's branches are all over the world, and it's like you're taking them on this journey to see and experience all of that. So I commend you for everything that you've done to go from somebody who didn't really have any interest in Africa to coming for the first time and then being a champion for connecting everybody. I commend you for that, and I thank you for always obliging and accepting my invitation to come and chat on my platform and share your knowledge and wisdom with everybody who's watching. So I thank you too.
Thank you very much, Ivy.
So everybody, thank you so much. Once again, if you like this video, don't forget to share it with other people who may want this information, and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow Jay Cameron Official on all platforms. Follow him on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and Maximum Impact Travel, so you can reach out and get any information you need and learn more about coming to the continent of Africa or other parts of the world where people of African descent are, that he can connect you with. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you next time.